The Duchess of Cambridge has opened up about life in lockdown, speaking to parents and teachers on a special Zoom call.
One word that describes parenting during this pandemic: hectic, exhausting.
As parents, you've got the sort of the day-to-day elements of being a parent, but I suppose during lockdown we've had to take on additional roles that perhaps others around us in our communities or in our lives would have perhaps supported us and helped us with. So, you know, I've become a hairdresser this lockdown, much to my children's horror, seeing mum cutting hair. I personally, feel pulled in so many different directions.
But her honesty hasn't gone down too well with some, with comments like these. Oh my God, this woman is so out of touch. Ugh. Lol, can you imagine what mothers who actually have real jobs without taxpayer-funded maids are going through? Read the room, Duchess. Another one, thank God for your 30 staff. So, Stacey, do you think that the royals can be relatable?
I don't think it's about being relatable, but I don't understand why somebody can't be exhausted. You know, even if I had 30 maids, wow, that would be amazing, I still would be exhausted, even just emotionally from my children. We do this thing, I feel like, where we look at somebody's life and say, you've got money or you've got privilege, so you have no idea what it's like to be sad, angry, exhausted, fed up, you know, and I just don't think that's the case. I even do it to myself a lot, and you know, when you're trying to talk yourself out of something, it's something that I am trying to talk myself out of, because any time that I feel any emotion other than happy, my default setting is to go, no, you're so lucky you have, and I am, and I'm so grateful for the, you know, having a roof over our head, having family around us, and all of those things, and I do that, and I just deny all of any feelings that I've got that might be any less than happy, because I'm not, there are so many people out there worse off, and I do think at some point you've got to stop doing that, and everybody is entitled to have days where they just are really having a bad day.
Yeah,
and
without being hosed down by the "it's all right for you" brigade.
Yeah, I just find it really, I feel like, especially at the moment, when everyone has had so much piled on top of them, let's just support every other mother, whether you're doing it the same, different, good, bad, whatever your opinions are. Why can't we just be supportive? Because it is difficult for everyone. Not everyone is in the same boat, that's true, but we're all in the same, you know, going through the same situation.
Kay, what about you? Do you sort of, if you have a day where you do feel exhausted, do you feel sort of guilty expressing that?
Yeah, I do, and I think we're maybe going to talk about it later, about whether you cry or not, in that I think you just try and sort of seal it all in and just keep it down. Because if it comes out, you don't know. And I totally get what you're saying, Stacey. You've got to keep counting your blessings, keep counting your blessings. But then you get that conflict within yourself, in that you think, I know I'm fortunate, but I still feel absolutely rubbish. And where do you go with that? You know, and it has become a bit of a competition of, you know, who's suffering the most. And I mean, those comments, I totally feel for those people. I mean, and in that case, I'm afraid probably the royals can't be relatable, but that's not to say that we can't appreciate that she will have her own struggles, you know?
And she's quite a hands-on...
But those are probably two different things.
She's quite a hands-on mum, I think,
I just think we've got, you know, to assume that if somebody has money, they have no other problems. It's just, what are we saying about money? We're giving far too much power to money. You can still grieve, as you say. You still have the emotional exhaustion of bringing up babies. I mean, and actually, it's interesting. What we were talking about yesterday, and we were talking about teenagers and how we have to validate their feelings through this year that we're going through, no matter what it is, and not say to them, well, you're very lucky because in the war, you know, because that doesn't actually help. And actually, when I left here yesterday and I went home, I actually was really quite down, because I realised that I'm just not letting myself be down. I'm not doing that thing that I'm preaching, in a way. And do you remember last week when we were talking about crying, and we were desperate for a cry, weren't we?
Yeah,
absolutely. And I still, like yesterday, I went home, I tried it again, I got in the shower, I tried to start myself off, and I just can't do it. I can't cry, and I know I need to. Have you managed it?
I think it's like a numbness.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm particularly sad or particularly happy. I'm struggling to find any emotion at the moment.
It's funny you should say that.
I feel like
I said to Mark
such a
yesterday,
weirdo.
numbness. It's like a greyness, isn't it? It's just like a...
Flat
I think
li-
you've
like
said
a
this
flat-
before,
like a
Kate.
flat line.
Yeah, it's almost like we're turning ourselves down a bit.
I call it energy saving mode. I think
Yeah.
we're all just on energy saving mode. And I think it's probably actually quite a good coping mechanism. But funnily, I was the one last time we were talking about crying, saying,
Yeah.
I'm not going to cry. This is not the time. It's too early. I had this experience just after that, actually. I was walking to work in the morning to my radio show. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, pitch black, walking along the Clydeside. And this music came on that was like 50s, 60s music, you know, just incredibly joyful, that incredible energy that came kind of post-war, I suppose. And I just started crying. I'm walking along in the pitch black on my own. But it was so unexpected. Like, Nadia, you're saying you're standing in the shower trying to.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Did it feel?
It hit me like on the back of my head.
Did it feel like a great release afterwards?
No, it ruined my mascara.
Do you know what? I'm trying
You're so not wearing mascara.
I'm trying to smile in like a really friendly way because I'm really glad Kay got to cry, and inside I'm so jealous.
So jealous.
Well,
Because that's what we mean. It's like in the shower, like that moment that takes you by surprise, Kay. You're just walking along in the dark and it comes and it is a release. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think
And
it's
it
so
was a shock.
important we all do it, no matter
mean,
what we might have.
The website The Cut says it recommends these techniques to help you cry, and one of them is the one you've just said, Kay, is putting on. Well, it actually is putting on sad music. Watch films that have made you cry in the past. That's what I do. I put Mask on the other day. Oh my God, I was hysterical. Conjure up your saddest memories or imagine a hypothetical one. Think
all of
about
that.
what you're
But see,
thankful for.
Jane, I think that is strange advice right now because we're sad right now. You know, I don't want to conjure up sad memories. I'm sad.
Even more
It was
sad
happy
memories,
memories
yeah.
that made me
That
cry
triggered it.
because that's what
Yeah.
I miss.
But it does say it is the
You know?
best way to self-soothe.
You know, I could probably do
there
it in
you
a second
go.
if I think in the old days we'd go after this show and go and have a glass of rosé. Yeah, we can't.
Well,
Yeah, we can't.
let's cheer.